Good morning and welcome to our daily contribution from the Centre of Action and Contemplation on this Thursday, the 16th of April. The theme for the week is the universal pattern, and today's contribution is entitled Mystical Hope. It begins with a quotation from the Franciscan sister and professor Ilia Delio, and she writes, "Hope is the main impulse of life." Richard Raw introduces a guest contributor called Cynthia Bourgeault, a well-known American spiritual writer, and will include an extract from her work. But this is what Richard Raw says by way of introduction. Because we are so quickly led to despair, most of us can't endure suffering for long without some sliver of hope or meaning. However, it's worth asking ourselves about where our hope lies. My friend and colleague Cynthia Bourgeault makes a very powerful distinction between what she calls ordinary hope tied to outcome and optimistic feeling, because we sense that things will get better in the future, and what she calls mystical hope, that is a complete reversal of our usual way of looking at things. Beneath the upbeat kind of hope that parts the seas and pulls rabbits out of hats, this other hope weaves its way as a quiet, even ironic counterpoint. And Cynthia Bourgeault continues, "We might make the following observations about this other kind of hope, which we call mystical hope. In contrast to our usual notions of hope, number one, mystical hope is not tied to a good outcome, to the future. It lives a life of its own, seemingly without reference to external circumstances and conditions. Point two, it has something to do with presence, not a future good outcome, but the immediate experience of being met, held in communion by something intimately at hand. Point three, it bears fruit within us at a psychological level in the sensations of strength, joy, and satisfaction, an unbearable lightness of being. But mysteriously, rather than deriving these gifts from outward expectations being met, it seems to produce them from within." She continues, "It is all too easy to understate and miss that hope is not intended to be an extraordinary infusion, but an abiding state of being. We lose sight of the invitation, and in fact our responsibility as stewards of creation, to develop a conscious and permanent connection to this wellspring. We miss the call to become a vessel, to become a chalice into which this divine energy can pour, a lamp through which it can shine. We ourselves are not the source of that hope, we do not manufacture it, but the source dwells deeply within us and flows to us with an unstinting abundance, so much so that in fact it might be more accurate to say that we dwell within it. The good news is that this deeper current does exist and you actually can find it. For me, the journey to the source of hope is ultimately a theological journey, up and over the mountain to the sources of hope in the headwaters of the Christian mystery. This journey to the wellsprings of hope is not something that will change your life in the short range, in the externals. Rather, it is something that will change your inmost way of seeing. From there, inevitably, the externals will rearrange. The journey to the wellsprings of hope is really a journey toward a center, toward the innermost ground of our being, where we meet and are met by God."